Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning's service. Today, our format for this morning will be Kansho, or calling bell. Then Sambujo. After Sambujo, we do the Hyobyaku-mon, or the announcement of the service or veneration of the service. After the Hyobyaku-mon, then we'll start with the chanting of the Sanbutsuge. Sanbutsuge is on page. It's been so long since I actually looked in the book. If you could help our guests. I want to see in the small red book it's like 80 or 90, but I can't remember anymore. 64. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Oh, different book. 24 on this.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for. Then after Sanbutsuge, we'll start with our MC for today. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Give me 1 minute, Carrie. I forgot to light the charcoal in here. Thank you. We respectfully call upon the Tathagata Amida to enter this dojo as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. We respectfully call upon the Tathagata Shakyamuni to enter this dojo as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. We respectfully call upon the Tathagatas of the 10 directions to enter this dojo as we joyfully scatter flowers of welcome. Today, on this occasion of the 2021 All War Memorial Service, the members of the Venice Honganji Buddhist Temple have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of those beings that have lost their lives to the human acts of war. With deepest reverence and gratitude for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we recite the name Namo Amida Butsu. Please put your hands together and repeat after me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namondos, 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 namondos. Namandas, 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 namandas. Namandas, namandas. Before the MC starts, just let me say I'm going to interrupt. I'm sorry, everyone. I think it's come out while I was after I announced the service. Maybe someone caught it. Today was supposed to be Suki Tsuito's service. Yeah. I will give my Suki Tsuito sermon, and I guess we'll put the names together next. Please join in next week, and we'll announce the names. So usually Suki Tsuito is monthly memorial service, and usually I read all the names for the month of July, and we're supposed to do month of August today. And I totally forgot. I was going to talk about LABCC, but LABCC, I think we did we did 5 services. I gave 3 of the messages, and then we had something like 6 hourlies and 4 night activities of hour and a half sessions, like hour and a half sessions. So I'm pretty fried. I guess I just totally skipped the week. I was talking to Tommy yesterday, and I said, "Oh yeah, tomorrow's All One Memorial," and then I was like, "Dude, we'll do that next week with our All One Memorial." But I just wanted to say, it occurred to me while I was chanting, I was like, this doesn't feel right, because usually we do a different chant that's 30 minutes long, and it was. Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to apologize for those that are there, and please join in next.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to this morning service. I am Vicky Tokirio, and I will be the chairperson for this morning. We will begin this morning service with the golden chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay. Our Gatha this morning will be, I love the story. Materials for this morning were included in the email for the service, or it's also on page 46 in the Brown service book.
Fears and doubts, from pain untold. Namo
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Namo Namo.
Reverend Corey will now lead us in the three treasures.
Hyobyaku-mon. In my paper. I was like, I usually have an insert in there. Here it is. It is me. Hyobyaku-mon. Like, 隣人受けたし、今すでに受く。仏法聞きたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かってのせずま、さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。来週ものともに、指針に参謀に消えし立てまつるべし。自ら仏に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは師匠と共に、大道を体現して無常よこさん。自ら法に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは師匠と共に、大道を深く共存に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは師匠と共に、来週を取りして一切抜けららん。無常人人女の方は、約千万号にもあよことがたし、我今検問し、受理することをたり、願わくは如来の真実義を消えし立てまつらん。The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I put my faith in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of thy way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves thy supreme will. I put my faith in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of thy doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I put my faith in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord and thy life of harmony in a spirit of universal family, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of cults, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namando, namando, namando.
We will now have our Dharma message by Reverend Corey.
So Carrie, I will not use that pictures.
Okay.
I'll use
Okay.
them next week.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you. But you can still see it. We're good. Hi. Namandas, 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 namandas. Namo Amigas. Namo Amigas. Namo Amigas. Namandas. Namandas. Yasho. The cloud of light is unhindered, like open sky. There is nothing that impedes it. Every being is nurtured by this light. So take refuge in Amida, the one beyond conception. Namo Amigados. Namo Amigados. Namo Amigados. Namo Amigados. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in this morning service. Welcome. Welcome. Wow, what can I tell you? It was a long week. I used this passage a couple weeks ago, actually, if you joined in service. And I was really excited about it because I don't know if you remember, I was actually talking about my terrible math teacher and how he called us weak-minded, and it made me think of this passage. But in short, you know, I focused on the first line or first two lines of this passage. The cloud of light is unhindered, like open sky. There is nothing that impedes it. You know, and that story said, what an amazing thing that teacher did for me in my life. He's the first teacher that just basically told it like it is. If it's bothering you, you know, it only bothers the weak-minded. That's basically what he told us. And it upset me so much that I probably didn't do the work on purpose and failed the class. But it took years for me to understand. And even using the teachings, I said, this is what the Buddha tried to teach us even 2,600 years ago. Right? When we think of light, when we think of receiving great Buddha's wisdom or the primal Tao, we want instant results, right? Even if we can't understand, we want instant results. And then this passage is saying it's a cloud. Now, this week, as I said, I was at LABCC camp. Thank you to all the members of Venice Temple. Because I don't know if I really reflected this week, and I said, you know, I don't, people were saying, oh, thank you for coming. And I said, I think I just said it in the board meeting that there won't be a minister, but I never really requested the time. Right? I mean, for those that are part of the board, I never said, may I please go to support the kids, you know, and give them religious and ministerial support. It was just, they were very gracious and said, okay. So I have to tell everyone at home, you know, thank you for allowing me to do that. The kids really had a wonderful and amazing time, especially during these times. You know, I even told the kids, I'm glad your parents sent you because, you know, there was news articles on camps, children's camps where, you know, 80 kids came down positive, and staff members and things, and I thought it would freak people out and they wouldn't come. But the staff handled it very well. They were very amazing. I mean, to the point where the kitchen staff was only like 10 people. We had hamburgers, and you get this bag of condiments. Each bag had like 2 slices of tomatoes individually wrapped with plastic wrap, 2 pickles in snack bags, onions thinly sliced and put in certain plastic wrap. I mean, that for just a regular 10 people of 10 serving 170 people every meal, it's a big deal. And yet they're going beyond that. Takeout trays for each person, and if they wanted seconds or thirds, takeout trays again. So I cannot say how amazing LAVCC is and how wonderful an asset they are to our Southern California temples, but also, again, thank you to Venice for allowing me to take part in that and to see it in action. I've been part of the staff since 1996. I started as a counselor, and I went to kitchen staff, and I said, kitchen staff was way easier, way harder than being a counselor. I only went for 3 days because I said I finally could go back to school and just not take the week off. So I went 3 days, and I drove down the hill, and I passed out. And then I drive to Casa de LA, and then I pass out again. And then I go to class, and then it took me 3 days to recover from 3 days of camp, versus going all week with kids and being fine, do whatever. But as I was there, as I said, I started in '96, so it's been 24. I think I missed 1 year last 2 years ago. After our Obon, I went on vacation. So the first time I ever missed camp. So I've been 24 years or so, and I've never gone the full week since I was 28. So I was like, I never understood. This is kind of like what this teacher was saying. It's like, well, it only bothers the weak-minded. This is what the Buddha taught. The Buddha said exactly the same thing. That's why it's so hard for people to follow the Buddha's teachings, because we're all weak-minded, and we need to develop some type of discipline. Jodo Shinshu says, well, just do your best, because we all have to live our everyday lives too. Okay. Well, as I'm at camp this week, this is, as I said, first week I've been there almost the whole week, and usually I come back on Wednesday, or even Tuesday, I think. So I'm there, and it just hit me like bricks, and I think there was a point where I do service, and then I eat breakfast, and then take a nap. Wake up for lunch, or do hourlies. Wake up for hourlies, take a nap. Go to lunch and take a nap, or do another hourly, or get up for dinner. Or the night activity was an hour and a half. We'd be going, and then as I'm doing it, I feel so bad that I'm not able to do what this kitchen staff is able to do. I'm not able to do what the directors were doing. And what they were doing was, rather than just patrolling the camp all day long or doing maintenance, they're actually cleaning, sanitizing while the kids were all together, behind the scenes, because they never saw these guys. Then they were very rarely together because they were split up. Even just the directors, they were split up around camp. Then it flashed back to me when I was a counselor, as I said, since I was 27, 28 years old, where in March when they started having meetings, they said, well, camp's coming around. You all have to start exercising, training, for those long days and long nights. I used to laugh. You have to exercise, you have to train, you have to really get in shape for this. So sure. Now I understand because I only could make the full like 2 days. My endurance is only 2 days long. And it's gee. And it made me think, what an amazing staff again. If we could switch our minds to what it is to be a Buddha in this way. The practice, when we talk about practice and perfection of mind, if we could change our mind in that way, constantly think about where we are in our lives. We would be doing an amazing job. Today, I apologize. I mixed up. I always do this at this time of year because after one and all this. Hey, at least I start. Well, I guess I started close to on time because All War Memorial. I don't know. Is it 9:30 or 10 o'clock? I don't know. But usually people come in during the middle of chanting because I started half an hour early, right? So just remind me next week what time we're supposed to start, and I think we'll be fine. But when we're on the difficult path of traditional Buddhism, we have to think about these things. That's part of the reason why we're Jodo Shinshu Buddhists rather than general Buddhists. Because we want to be the best we can be. Jodo Shinshu Buddhists say, do the best you can. And if you need help, rely on those that uplift you, that guide you, that support you. That's why we have these monthly memorial services, our Suki Tsuito services. We read the names of all of those that have gone before us. I read the dates of their passing too, because that is so powerful to say. It's been so many years since I've been influenced by this person. I haven't physically been with them, but I can still say that I'm walking in their shadow, in their footsteps. I want to end with so no matter how long it takes, the cloud of light, no matter what speed it takes, it will get to you. It will get to each and every one of us, as long as we keep our minds and hearts open. I wanted to share this story that happened, and it didn't occur to me until I was chanting that I should share it because it fits so perfectly in this message that I put together. But yesterday, I did a 25-year memorial. And I had shared that LABCC, and they were in their own little world. Right? If you didn't get your test done by Friday, you weren't able to go to camp on Sunday. Camp work counts for anyone. Everyone needed a negative test. For example, Reverend Murakami from Nishi, I would not have been able to go through this week without him going from Sunday to Thursday. Usually the minister will go one day, something like that. We got a COVID test on Friday. Saturday night, we hadn't heard anything. Sunday morning, I got my COVID results at 3:30 in the morning and sent it along at 5:30. But he hadn't received anything. So then he made an appointment to have his COVID test in Pasadena, or Arcadia. No, he went to Arcadia. He took the first COVID test in Pasadena. So going from Nishi to Pasadena was already far enough. But he went Pasadena, then the next day Arcadia, or 2 days later Arcadia. He got to camp and they told him he took the wrong test. He took the antigen test instead of the PCR test. So then they had him in quarantine and they kept checking online. The lab lost his results, and then so no one knew he was at the campus except the medical staff, because he wasn't allowed to interact with anyone. And then on Monday, they drove him down the mountain to Rancho Cucamonga, and he had to get a rapid test. And so for a whole day, he was in quarantine, like in isolation quarantine. This is the dedication of even Murakami Sensei. I really appreciate what he did, because each time they had to pay $200 to get his test done, and that's a great feat. But as I'm talking about this bubble, and these kids being away from home for the first time, and these things going on, after the service for this mother, 25-year memorial for this mother, one person came up to me and said, you know, when you're talking about camp and how dedicated and the staff is and the relationships they build, because they're it. That's it, you know. They have to rely on each other so much. They have to, the counselors have to be the parents, you know, and these kids have to figure it out for the first time. Maybe for the first time what it is to be without the parents. And I guess even it's kind of like prep for in the future, when you're really, luckily you can go home to your parents, but in the future, you know, it's going to be really rough. So they came up to me and said, you know, when you were talking about this experience, I remember being at Camp Yolani and being 8 years old. And then there was this, I had this counselor, Mr. Ben from Nishi. And he knew I was having a hard time, and he was the most caring and compassionate person. And it was just perfect throughout the whole week. And I really, when you said these things, he just came to me, and I really remember these things. And I said, you know, it's amazing, because for the first time, because I stayed all day in camp, or all week, almost all week in camp, they asked me to go to this camp dinner that they get together at Nishi. And the daughter of this gentleman is part of camp staff. So I'll definitely share this experience and this reflection, or what we would say the voiceless voice of the Buddha, that's still with this now 70-year-old ex-camper, you know, 62 years later, how impacted, influential he was. And so I did, and I shared it with her, and she was like so impressed that she wanted me to share with like a bunch of other people and things. But this is what we say is the value of doing these monthly memorial services. This is why we do it, is to really say and say, hear the name. Let's say this true person was truly valuable in my life. I can't believe it's been so many years. 62 years for that guy, for this person. 62 years. But he could say, I knew a truly compassionate, understanding, patient person. And it gives him a template of how to treat others, maybe when they're going through those hard times of a loss of a parent or a loss of a loved one. So yes, that cloud of light, it's there. We receive it all the time, but it takes some time for us to understand the true gift that we have. So with that, if you could please bow your heads or put your hands together and join me in Gassho as I read this passage again. The cloud of light is unhindered, like open sky. There is nothing that impedes it. Every being is nurtured by this light. So take refuge in Amida, the one beyond conception. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message. We will now recite the 6 paramitas.
Roku Haramitsu, Mi Hotoke Sama no Mikokoro ni Kachikaya Rasasete Itadaite. Sotsu, Yo Ichijitsu, Idora Kana Manako, Atatakai Naseke, Tsutsumashi Yakana, Taido de Kurashimashou. Sotsu, Yo Ichijitsu, Ara o Tatemasu Mai. Sotsu, Yo Ichijitsu, Wohei Fusoku Uso o Moshimasu Mai. Sotsu, Kyo Ichijitsu, Watashi no Shigoto ni Zenshin Zenroku o Kagete, Tsuku Sasete Itadakimashou. Sotsu, Kyo Ichijitsu, Yoru Hiru Tsune ni Watashi o Mamorasatomo o Mihotoke no Gogon o Yorokobasasete Itadakimashou. Sotsu, Kyo Ichijitsu, Namo Amida Butsu o Tonaisasete Itadakimashou. 6 Paramitas. Turning our thoughts to the Buddha, let us throughout the day live with clear eyes, warm hearts, and humble attitude. Let us throughout the day not become angry. Let us throughout the day not utter words of discontent, dissatisfaction, and untruth. Let us throughout the day do our daily work with all our power. Let us throughout the day rejoice in the loving compassion of Amida, who is constantly watching over us day and night. Let us throughout the day repeat the holy name, Namo Amida Butsu. Promise. The Buddha is our eternal father and mother. The Buddha always keeps watch over us. We promise to listen to the teachings of the Buddha and perfect ourselves by following the Buddha's ideals. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Are there any announcements? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, just a few things. So thank you to Vicky for being the chairperson. I always forget the chairperson, so I do that first. And to Ron and Carrie for doing our AV today, and Judy for, I think it's Judy, right, for being our organist. So next Sunday, we will have our final service of the summer. So it will now be our All Wars Memorial Service and our July and August Tsuito Hoyo service. So apologies for the mix up today, but we'll get everybody in next week. So we'll cover everybody. As part of next week's service, like we usually have been doing, if you want to bring a picture of your favorite veteran that has passed away or something patriotic to show on the screen, we'll do that during the service. Thank you to everybody who participated in the Marie Callender's fundraiser last week and the Harajuku Taproom fundraiser this past Wednesday. So that sort of officially concludes all of our Obon activities for this year. So hopefully next year we'll be able to do them in person. And then just 2 other things. We have Elena Minamoto is looking for 1 more volunteer for deliveries for next Sunday. It's our Torrance route. So if you're kind of local, it's 3 deliveries that have to be made. So you can contact her to sign up. And then lastly, Ron just reminded me that today is officially Reverend Corey's 6th anniversary with the temple. So so congratulations on making it 6 years. So in fact, I guess it's not a surprise, so we can share this. So the Senior Dana delivery bags next week are going to recognize that Reverend Corey's been with us for 6 years. So you can look forward to that next week. So thanks.
We will conclude this morning with the Gatha Sayonara and the reading of the Benediction. Benediction. We surround all people and all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Particularly do we send forth loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to all those in doubt and ignorance, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change we call death. We send forth oceans of wisdom, mercy, and love. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Thank you for attending this morning's service. You can now unmute yourself and visit.